Hello again, Kingston Town Administrator Keith Hickey with your latest version of This Week in Kingston for the week ending February 25th, 2022. It's been a crazy week weather-wise, obviously. It was 60, 70 degrees yesterday. Tomorrow it's going to snow. So every day we get one day closer to spring. So hopefully that end of winter is coming soon. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but there's a lot of things still going on in town. It's a busy time of year budget-wise and things of that nature. The Finance Committee continues to meet with department heads before deliberating on the budget they're going to represent and present to town meeting. The Capital Planning Committee is doing the same. If you're interested in running for office on any a Board of Selectmen, a Board of Assessors, tax collector, water commissioner, library trustee, sewer commissioner, or housing authority, as well as the planning board, the Silver Lake School Committee, the Kingston Elementary School Committee, the Board of Health, the Recreation Commission, being a constable, or being on the housing authority for 1 year instead of 3. All those positions are up and will be on the ballot this year. If you're interested in running for any one of those positions, we'd love to have you come in and pull some papers. Unfortunately, the deadline to pull papers is coming up quick. The deadline is Wednesday, March 2nd. You need to go to the town clerk's office before the end of the day on March 2nd. Get the information that you need, and then you've got 2 weeks until March 18th to get the necessary signatures back to be put on the ballot for the election this spring. So with that, we, again, as I mentioned earlier, the town is continuing to review budgets with the FinCom. We're getting more information finalized with regards to some of the costs that we had estimated in the budget to present to the Board of Selectmen. Health insurance, retirement costs, things of that nature have now been solidified. So the Finance Committee is making changes, or will be making changes to their budget to reflect the actual numbers rather than the estimates. The Capital Planning Committee is doing the same thing. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you've seen, with a lot of different things that people are having to purchase right now, some of the costs associated with vehicles and equipment that we're having to try to purchase, those costs have been increased slightly. So the Capital Planning Committee will be refining some of those numbers and working their way through the process over the next month or so to get a final document together for them to present to the Board of Selectmen, to the Finance Committee. The Board of Health tonight is meeting tonight, February 24th, to discuss a number of things, including the mask mandate and whether or not to lift that. I am hopeful. I haven't had a conversation with anybody from the Board of Health, but I'm hopeful that tonight they'll deem that town buildings can now have masks removed if they want to do that. Obviously, next Monday when the kids go back to school, or next Tuesday when the kids go back to school, they won't need to wear masks anymore, which is great news. For talking to a couple of people who have kids in 1st and 2nd grade, their children have never gone to school without a mask, which kind of puts things in perspective. I know that the Board of Health nurse had used kind of a benchmark of 100 people who may have been or were currently had COVID as the benchmark. Anything under 100, and she would be supportive of removing the masks. We've dropped now to 77 this week, so it's been dropping pretty steadily now for the better part of 4 to 6 weeks. So, which is great for everybody. So tune in to the Board of Health meeting if you'd like to, or I'm sure there'll be information on the town website, on a number of private Facebook pages that will let you know whether or not the mask mandate has been lifted. Again, a lot of things happening in town. We continue to look for a lot of volunteers to be on boards and committees. So you don't need to be elected if you're interested in being appointed by the Board of Selectmen or the moderator, depending on which position it is. If you go to our town website, kingstonma.gov, excuse me. You'll see a long list of openings in different boards and commissions we desperately need to have some volunteers fill some of those spots. We'll be presenting to the Board of Selectmen on March 8th. They prioritized, or staff's prioritized list of road improvements that are eligible for the Complete Streets Grants Program. For those who may not be aware of it, we can apply, the town of Kingston can apply with every other community in the state in a competitive grant process to receive up to $400,000 towards infrastructure improvements that would better promote what they call multimodal transportation, which includes biking, walking, meaning sidewalks, street improvements, things of that nature. So we are in the process now of finalizing a list of those improvements that we think are important. We'll be presenting that to the Board of Selectmen on March 8th. If the board has any modifications, we'll make those. And then shortly after that, we'll submit our application to the state for our funding request, and we would hear something back from them later on in the spring, sometime before July 1st. So we're hoping that we're successful, bring some additional money into town to try to address some of the needs that we have in some of our infrastructure improvements. So with that, I again, awfully busy things going on around here. I really appreciate everybody's concerns and input on a variety of things. We're hoping to close on the Winthrop Street property. One last thing, I guess, on March 4th at this point, which is a long time coming. I know there's a lot of people anxious to get that done. So we're hoping to get that squared away, and we've got a tentative closing date of March 4th. So we will soon be owning that piece of property, and people can walk around there and enjoy themselves on that property as well. So if anybody has any questions or comments or concerns, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and try to stay safe over the weekend snowstorm that we're going to have. And we'll talk to you again next week. Have a great day.